A few months ago, I decided to download Tinder because I was kind of bored and alone, doing nothing in my house, and so I thought it'd at least give me something to do. I did the generic thing of just swiping right on pretty much everyone I could, and not really swiping left on anyone, just to see if I could get as many matches as possible. So after about a week or so of doing this, I ended up matching with this girl, and she's beautiful. I think a little too beautiful for me, and I found it kind of weird that she would actually match with me, seeing as how I'm not very attractive. But her profile did say that she was only looking for a bit of fun, and so I was kind of up for it. So I messaged her and asked what she was doing and stuff, and started flirting a little bit. She replied almost instantly, and we ended up talking for about 3 days. After the 3 days, she asked if I wanted to go to her house and see her. I was a bit worried at first, but thought, why not? We've been talking for a few days, and she seems nice, so I might as well give it a try and see what happens. So she gives me her address, and it's not too far away from me, about a mile or so. So I hop in my car and head on over to her house. After a few minutes of driving, she messaged me again, asking if I'm still definitely coming, to which I responded yes. She then responded, saying that when I get there, I have to go into the back door. And no, I don't mean that in an innuendo. She literally means go through her back door. At first, I thought it was kind of weird. Why wouldn't she want me to go in through the front? But I just brushed it off and said okay. When I got to where she lived, it was in a really run-down neighbourhood. The house itself looked abandoned. But still, I was kind of horny, and so got out of the car anyway and walked over to the door. There was a sign on the front door saying make sure to come round back, and this should have probably been the second red flag. I start walking round to the back and there's this huge gate blocking the way, so I have to climb over it. When I get into the back garden, it is massive with overgrown grass everywhere. There is this little shed in the corner with loads of moss and mould growing all over it. I go to the back door to see that it's already slightly open. I knock on it and start walking in, shouting and calling to see if she answers. I start walking into the house, and everything is a mess. There's food wrappers and everything all over the floor. Furniture tipped upside down. I think it's kind of weird that a beautiful girl, who is looking for fun, would send me to this abandoned house. I know. I should have got out of there. But I was still curious to see if she was actually here, so I kept walking in further. I heard a noise coming from upstairs, so I start creeping up, still calling for her. Again, there's no reply. When I get to the top of the stairs, I see that there's a door that's open, leading to a bedroom. I see a shadowy figure on the wall in the bedroom, and I assume it's her, so I start walking forward and calling out her name. As I get closer, she actually emerges. And yes, it was actually the person from the picture, and I was shocked. At that point, I'm kind of relieved. I thought something was going to happen. So I smile and start walking towards her, and she gestures for me to go in. When I get inside, she pushes me onto the old bed and starts acting sexy. She then tells me to stand up and stand by the wall and take off my t-shirt, which obviously I do straight away. As I'm in the middle of taking off my t-shirt, I see her slowly glance into the doorway where I just come up from the stairs, and kind of looking nervous, I guess. Kind of in that state where if you see someone and want them to do something, you start looking and saying hurry up. That kind of look. As I finish taking off my t-shirt, I hear a creak coming from outside the doorway, and this is where it gets scary. She rushes to me and pushes me against the wall, and then a guy runs into the room with a knife, running at me. I'm there, bare-chested, a girl holding on to me and a guy with a knife, and I am terrified right now. I have no idea what's going on. The guy starts shouting in a foreign language which I didn't understand. I was terrified. I thought I was literally going to die. With adrenaline pumping through my body, with no idea how to get out of this, I decided to kick the man in the testicles and push the woman away. When I hit the guy, he dropped the knife on the floor and also fell down with it. I ended up getting the woman off and ran straight for the door. I ran down the stairs, ran out the back garden, and jumped over the fence as quickly as I could and sprinted into my car. As I'm in my car and starting the engine, I look up to the window where I just were, and they were both stood there looking at me, and they did sort of a look as if to say, "I will kill you, just wait." I didn't want to wait any longer, so I just floored out of there and got home. When I got back, she had unmatched me on Tinder, and her account was completely gone. I didn't know what to think of the whole ordeal. I thought it was kind of weird that a beautiful girl like that was luring people there to probably kill them. The worst thing about this is I lost a very good shirt. Anyway, if anyone's on Tinder and sees a beautiful girl, make sure that it's actually someone who doesn't want to kill you first, because you never know what could actually happen anymore. And also to the creepy Tinder girl and the guy who was with her, let's not meet again. As a bit of backstory, I was working at a small chain motel in the Midwest as a night auditor, so my hours were normally 11 PM to 8 AM. With those kind of hours, and being a woman, I'm bound to have some weird stories. The scariest time I've ever had working there happened within my first month. So it was a little before my shift started, and because I was single and 22, I was on Tinder before work. I matched with this guy who seems cool, a little goth/alternative, and into Ouija boards and tarot, which is my type, so I was hyped at the time. We talk for a bit, and I tell him I have to go to work, so we say goodbye. Now, that night was my first night off of training, so I was running the motel by myself for 9 hours. I was already a little nervous, but then this vaguely familiar guy comes up to the front desk and asks me for my name. In my head, I've got red flags blaring at me, because this dude is weird. Not by looks, but just by vibe. I tell him that I'm me, and he explains that he was a guy from Tinder, and he saw that I was less than a mile away, so he wanted to see if I was possibly working at his hotel. That's right, this guy was staying where I worked. Red flag number 2. I stay behind the comfort of my desk for 2 hours, because this guy won't stop talking to me, mostly about how his ex left him, and how he beat people up, and how he wanted to bang me. Needless to say, I was uncomfortable, and this hadn't happened to me before in the work environment, so I didn't know what to do. He finally decided to go to bed at 2 or 3 AM, and I took a much needed smoke break. I go outside, and right after I spark up, guess who shows up? Creepy dude. I snooped a bit on his account, and he was a painter and was working locally, so he wasn't from here. He tells me about where he's from and keeps getting closer and closer to me. He asks if he can smoke weed, which I said yes to, but he'd have to get away from me. I showed him when the cameras weren't, and he pulled me in, smelled my neck, and started grabbing my ass. I swiftly hit him and told him he better not fucking touch me. I threw my cigarette on the ground and grabbed my phone to call my boss before going inside, but the creepy dude rips the phone from my hand and proceeds to text himself. Now he had my number. First thing he sends me is a grotesque picture of his extremely body-modied penis. I've seen some penis in my day, but this was like nothing I'd ever seen. Then came the creepy BDSM porn gifs, with captions like, "I can't wait to do this to you. You know what room I'm in." Now, I'm already freaking out, and I don't know why I didn't call the cops, and my boss wasn't answering. So there was me, in the back office, having the panic attack of my life, when I got one more video. Why I clicked on it, I'll never know. I refuse to say what I saw in detail, but it was a snuff porn film. Very violent, and very sexual. I then locked myself in the back room, cried, and waited for a few hours before proceeding to make hotel breakfast. The text went on for a few days until I'd had enough, and got the balls to tell my boss. He immediately kicked out Creepy Dude and banned him from our hotel. His company isn't even allowed to book with that hotel anymore. In hindsight, I should have called the police, but I was too scared. Creepy Dude, let's never meet again. I recently decided to download the Tinder app because my best friend had been getting a few dates, and it's also where he met his current girlfriend. This was about 6 months ago, so I'm going to explain it from them up until this point. So I downloaded the app and just started swiping right on everyone that I found cute and swiping left on the people that I didn't find that attractive. You know, the usual stuff that you do on the app. After about a week, I actually matched with this girl who was perfect. She was gothic, into the same music as me, liked pretty much everything I did. And the best thing about it is she only lived like 10-15 minute drive away from me. So it was perfect if I ever had to meet her. So I messaged her and we started talking. We were talking for about 2-3 weeks and she decided that she wanted to meet up with me. So I was obviously ecstatic because I thought she was amazing and would love to meet up with her. Let me just say now that I'm not the kind of guy that just likes to meet someone, have sex, and then be done with it. I'm the kind of guy that actually wants a relationship with someone. So anyway, we met about halfway between each other's house and went to a little bar. We started talking and drinking, and honestly, she was just perfect. She was everything I was looking for in a girlfriend. Smart, funny, everything you could ever want. So after a few hours, we were a little bit tipsy, and so I decided to order her a cab home. As she was getting into the cab, she asked me if I wanted to join her going back to her house. But as I said before, I'm not the kind of guy that just wants to have sex with someone. I actually wanted a relationship. So I told her no and that was fine, and that I would message her in the morning. She looked a bit down, but she agreed and ended up going home. The next day, she actually messaged me first, and said she really enjoyed our night, and asked if we could meet up again soon. I said of course, and we decided to meet up for a meal about a week later. We had another 2 dates afterwards, and finally, I decided I'd go back to her place after she asked every single time. So I went back to her place, and obviously, we did the day and had sex. Let me just say, it was everything I was hoping for. Not too kinky, but just kinky enough. In the morning when I woke up, she turned to me, smiled, and said, "So, we're making it official then?" I smiled a cheeky little grin, put my hand on her and said yeah, gave her a kiss, and got up to go to the toilet. So that was it. I had a girlfriend, and it was perfect. But then, it started getting bad. She would message me constantly. No matter what time of day it was, I would always receive a message from her. "Where are you? What are you doing? Why aren't you responding to me? Please, just message me." If I hadn't replied by that point because I was working or sleeping, she would start getting angry and threatening. "If I find out you're cheating on me, I will kill you and the girl while making you watch as her body suffers." I thought it was kind of creepy. We'd only been dating a couple of months, and honestly, that's just not something you say to anyone. But I guess I was in love, and so I just brushed it off as her being caring and loving for me. She eventually started ringing and messaging pretty much every minute of every day. And when I was at work, she would always be there, just watching, making sure I'm actually working. I honestly found this a little bit strange, because I'd tell her I was working, and relationships are supposed to be built on trust. So if she feels the need to watch me, then what trust is there? Again though, I was in love, and so I didn't really say anything about it. She started to be really clingy, like always wanting to be around me, making sure I wasn't doing anything. After a while, I decided I just couldn't take it anymore. I mean, yeah, I loved her, but it was just getting too weird and creepy, and I couldn't deal with her constantly being around me. I mean, even in a relationship, people need a little bit of space. So that night, I decided to meet her and tell her it wasn't really working out between us and that we should break up. She obviously didn't take too well to it. Started threatening me, saying that she'll kill me, because no one else can have me. I just brushed it off because I didn't think she'd actually do anything. And honestly, I didn't care. I just wanted to be gone at this point. This was about a month ago, and I thought I was honestly done with her. But I was dead wrong. I still saw her everywhere I went. She would be watching me, trying not to be seen, but I would always see her out the corner of my eye. Or if I was walking home and turn around, I'd see someone just duck away at the last second. This has been going on for a month now, and I've honestly tried confronting her, but she just brushed it off and says she's not doing anything wrong. I don't know whether or not I should be freaked out, because I don't know if she's actually going to do something. What'll happen if I end up getting a new girlfriend? I just don't know what to do. I thought I was rid of her, but she's still pestering about. So, creepy ex-girlfriend, even I did love you. Please stop following me. And please, just let's not meet again. Well, anyway guys, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed, then please like, share and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have any stories of your own which you would like to have shared, then please make sure to contact me, link in the description, and you may be featured in a future video. Well, anyway, I hope to see you soon, and I'll speak to you later.